Contact the higher power only as we loosen our attachments to them. Oh, yeah, okay, ooh. Okay. And then at some magic moment, we change from driven men to carried men. Oh, child, I like that. That sounds good. Okay, instead of you being like, "Oh, I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make it work," honey, surrender and watch hell source. Okay, carry you. Oh, child, I don't mind being carried. Okay. I know you have been trying to suppress those emotions that you have been going through, right? You wear a smile on your face, even though deep down inside you feel depressed. You feel like no one loves you. You feel like life is against you. I'm here to tell you this. If it's not for those emotions that you tend to feel, you will not aim to become the best version of yourself. And let me read this book, because this is what really got me to do the video, The Mystic Path to Cosmic Power by Vernon Howard. I told you guys before about this book. Such an epic read. Like, if you don't have this book in your library, I don't know what you waiting for, okay? Because this is like one of the books, After the Alchemist by Pablo Coelho, okay? I had got a few other books like The Four Agreement and stuff like that, but this book right here is so powerful. And let me say this, okay? Things that's outside us, ultimately we hold the power, okay? The books and everything and the practices and everything like that, they ultimately come from us putting forth effort, right? But ultimately, we hold the power. So let's be clear on that. But one of the things it says this: sure steps to awakening. Along the mystic path, we again and again come across this sign, wake up. In this section, we meet a number of short and effective eye-openers. People think that life has hundreds of problems. It hasn't. There is only one problem. The lost child doesn't know the way home. The truth is stronger than thought, emotion, desire, sex, regret, money, fear, boredom, the past, the future. Stronger than anything in life, none of these can ever trouble the mystic man. And what the author is pretty much talking about when he say the mystic man is the awakening, you knowing your true nature, your true self, right? Know thyself, right? Like you knowing you're gonna be good, okay? You knowing that your higher self is always walking with you. And if you listen to it, it will guide you, okay? I remember I had heard Bashar, okay? Daryl, who channels in Bashar. One of the things he said was this. Oh, I get so excited when I'm talking about this and when I read this, because sometimes we have a tendency to forget, right? That ultimately we hold the power. And one of the things Bashar said was that our higher self is on a mountaintop and is looking down and guiding us if we are to listen, right? But oftentimes, sometimes what we tend to do is we tend to allow the force self, okay, the ego, to dictate exactly what it is that we should do, right? So it goes a little something like this. Your higher self may say for you to take a break, right? For you to take, a break or whatever. And because you can't see the significance and why should you take a break, you may continuously say, that don't make sense. I'm just going to do it my way. And what I come to realize, even in my own life, child, is when we feel like I know it all, operating from the ego, I'm going to do it my way. Or though, in most cases, we've been doing it our way for a very, very long time. And it has not worked out. Well, let's say maybe because we've been doing it and resisting and putting up resistance, that's what caused us to surrender and say, you know what? My way is not working. I surrender. I am going to be patient. I am going to surrender. I am going to be obedient. I am going to listen, okay, to my spiritual guides, to my higher self, okay? Now, another thing it says is the truth is stronger than thought. Oh, I read that part. When new students come to the Greek philosopher Pythagoras, I think that's the name, honey, correct me in the comments, okay? The very first lesson they heard was learn to be silent, okay? Let your quiet mind listen and absorb. We try to reassure ourselves with our human thoughts, but mentally, gymnastics cannot help us, and we know it. Trying to uplift ourselves with conditional ideas is like trying to get upstairs by pacing around the basement. A new kind of mind is needed. The less your external comforts from friends, position, money, the more your inner comfort from the higher power. Now, whatever you do, do not take this as religious or philosophical speculations. Take it as a practical fact, for that is exactly what it is. A perfect method for awakening is to examine the result of our daily actions. If they are harmful, okay, and listen to this. This is something else I want to say. Oftentimes, we say, you may be filled with guilt or shame, okay? And you may feel like, oh, you did so bad, right? It was so wrong of you. In the universe, there is no good or bad. And I know some people still, they feel like, no, it is good or bad, but there's no good or bad. And the reason being is because your good could be somebody else's bad, and somebody else's bad could be somebody else's good, okay? It's all according to what we say, okay? The next thing is this. We cannot solve problems or the illusion of problems, right, with the same old mindset, with the same old stinking thinking, okay? And many of us have grew up, and we have heard, be born again, right? What that merely means is to renew your mind, okay? Because a lot of things that we have been programmed to believe it is erroneous, meaning it's wrong, okay? And one of the things that I love so much about the author, okay, Vernon Howard, he says a perfect method for awakening is to examine the results of our daily actions. If they are harmful, we know we need more consciousness, okay, more awareness. So it's not to beat yourself up, okay? It's not for you to feel like bad or feel like less than, okay? It's not for that reason at all. The reason truth affects a man so powerfully is because he already knows it deep within. All emotional feeling towards truth is a response, a recognition. We may accept it or reject it, but we see it. Meaning that you already know. You already know that certain things in your life is not working. Like, we know those things already, right? But it's a part of us that, like I said previously, right, that we feel like this, I'm going to make it work. Sometimes in relationships, you already know that person is in second grade, okay, and that's a metaphor. But there you are trying to advance this person to be in the 8th grade. And that person have not learned certain lessons yet. And so they keep on doing it, although they know that it's getting them the results that they at times say that they don't like or that they don't want, but they keep on doing it. But deep down inside, they know that something is wrong. Okay? Like I told you guys when I had my spiritual awakening. And let's be clear, because, you know, to have a spiritual, you will have many awakenings. Okay? But I remember when I had my spiritual awakening, right? And you feel like, oh my goodness, you know, I'm cured, so to speak, right? Like everything, you know, everything. I know I see everything and whatever it is like that. But and then sometimes you may even feel like, well, I know all the illusions, but it's still illusions that you need to be mindful of, right? Like I remember after I had my spiritual awakening, and I talked about this previously in my videos, you know, I wanted to wake everybody up, right? It felt like I had a gift, right? And you know, you want to go around and telling everybody your gift. You want to go around telling everybody, you know, you don't have to suffer. You know, that's a choice, and you know, you feel so optimistic. You know what I mean, okay? But you feel so happy, like, oh, I want to tell everybody, you know, I want them to be better. I want them to feel better. And oftentimes people are not receptive, okay? And sometimes it may feel like, dang, I thought that they would be more receptive. And it is not nothing wrong with you, okay? It's probably they not ready. And that is okay, because we all grow at different times, okay? But one of the things I wanted to speak upon was this too, okay? Another thing the book says is this: people should think less about what they ought to do and more about what they ought to be. Ooh, child, okay? If only their being were good, they works would shine forth brightly. So I told you guys, okay? Oh, I guess you should do that. Okay. Now I told you guys, okay, a few weeks ago, okay, I said to myself, I said, all right, Dina, we already know we're gonna arrive with the goals and everything like that. And I think in many cases we get so caught up with the goals and everything like that that sometimes we tend to neglect our health. Sometimes we neglect our sleep. Sometimes we will neglect, morals, because we feel like, well, this is the only way, when there is a much better way. That only if we are patient will everything come together so easily. Another thing I wanted to speak on was this, because let me tell you something. This book is so, you better, like that girl said, you better come down here and get you one of these. You feel good, not because the world is right, but your world is right because you feel good. Ooh, child. Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. Now, this is the part that really, really did something for me. Okay, honey, let me bring it in for a home run. This is the part I was talking about. Okay. Ooh. All right. We should be very glad we get tired of working so hard and living. Okay. Ooh. The abandonment of useless human effort is just the thing we need for contact and higher power. By abandonment, I mean setting aside ego, directed drives such as planning, desiring, hoping, yearning, speculating, demanding, straining, claiming, influencing, dominating. All these interfere with the natural flow of the inner life. We contact the higher power only as we loosen our attachments to them. Oh, yeah, okay, ooh. Okay. And then at some magic moment, we change from driven men to carried men. Oh, child, I like that. That sounds good. Okay, instead of you being like, oh, I'm gonna make it work, I'm gonna make it work. Honey, surrender. And watch hell's source, okay? Carry you. Ooh, child, I don't mind being carried, okay? All right. No one should ever feel bad. And this is the point that I want to drive home, okay? No one should ever feel bad if self-observation reveals that he or she is presently on a lower level. On the contrary, we should be glad, for only this discovery makes upliftment possible. It is the foolish person who imagines he has nothing to learn. Also remember, the mystic path has no moral judgments. There are no such things as good and bad, superior or inferior. We don't consider a 5-year-old child inferior to a child of 10. We simply realize that everyone is on a different level of insight and awareness. Honey, let me know in the comments, what did you get from this, okay? What I got from this is surrendering, letting my higher self direct me. That I don't have to do all the work, so to speak. And if I would just listen and be obedient and allow my higher self to do the work. And I'm not saying that means, because, sometimes people will say, well, that means, for me not to do nothing. No, I do believe you need to put some action forth, okay? But what I mean is not to be a control freak, like not trying to control every aspect of your life, not trying to force things, but simply surrendering. And surrendering is not hard or easy, okay? It's just what we say it is. But I am here to tell you, the more you seek for the answers, the more ye shall find. And with that being said, I love you guys. Make sure you're having a wonderful night, okay? And leave some comments in the chat. And let me know, what did you get from this, okay? And again, I highly encourage you guys, okay, to get the Mystic Path of Cosmic Power. I done read this book a few times. And every time that I seem like, I'm getting off track or whatever, I come back to this book. And the one who recommended this book was the one and only Bob Proctor. And with that being said, I catch you guys on the next one. Peace.